Operation Gideon's Chariots, through the sights of an Israeli rifle. From their tanks, the soldiers see a landscape of rubble that Israel created, hiding what they see as terrorists who must be eliminated. Operation Gideon's Chariots, from a tented camp that the Israelis told Gazans would be safe. But nowhere's safe in Gaza, especially now the new ground offensive has started. Today, the Israeli government told the residents of Khan Younis to evacuate the town again to allow a free fire zone. Such a familiar, terrible sight. The trucks and carts, the families with a few possessions and less hope. But not everything is always as it seems. Today, eyewitnesses said Israeli special forces disguised themselves as a displaced family in order to carry out an assassination. They used typical Gazan bags to carry their explosives and other equipment, all abandoned at the scene.
In the morning, one of the guys in the neighbourhood went up and asked them, "What are you doing?" They went inside the house, killed the man and took away the woman and girl.
The target was Ahmed Sarhan, a commander of a militia allied with Hamas.
We heard the sound of saws cutting through the metal, and there were quadcopters outside the window that would kill anyone they saw.
Israel says the aim of its new offensive is to force Hamas to surrender the remaining 58 hostages, only 20 of whom are believed to be still alive, and to take total control of Gaza. The Israeli Prime Minister was in a Tel Aviv courtroom this morning for his continuing corruption trial. He's decided that after more than 2 months of receiving no aid, the people of Gaza should be allowed just a little.
From the beginning of the war, we said that in order to complete the victory, defeat Hamas and free all our hostages, two tasks that are intertwined, there is one necessary condition. We must not reach a state of starvation. Both from a practical and a political point of view, we simply won't get support. We won't be able to complete the mission of victory.
So, not because it's against international law to starve civilians, not because it's inhumane, but because Israel needs US support, and the Trump administration has reportedly said that letting Gazan children die of starvation is unacceptable. Today, the first aid trucks were on the move. Israel plans to prevent the UN and other international humanitarian agencies from distributing aid, instead creating a new US-Israeli organization to ensure that food and medicines will not only be lifesavers, but also instruments of control.
Lindsay Hilson there. Well, earlier I was joined by Dr. Victoria Rose, who's a British plastic surgeon currently working at the Nasser Hospital in Gaza. She began by telling me that today's delivery of food aid by 9 trucks was nothing like enough.
The population here are really in need of food. I've never seen them in such a bad condition. The children are cachectic. They are all smaller than they should be for their age. They are underweight. They are showing signs of malnutrition. Their dentition is terrible, which is the first marker of inadequate nutrients and vitamins. And they are just not healing any of the horrific wounds that they have. And coupled with that, we have the added problems of the susceptibility to infection, which is rife out here because we have very few antibiotics to fight it.
It seems a naive question, perhaps, but just explain a little bit more. How does low-level nutrition, malnutrition, I think we're talking, impact on a patient, particularly a young patient's ability to recover, to stave off infection?
Without a balanced diet, not only will you be unable to heal any wounds, but you won't have the reserves for growth. And that's what we've seen immediately we got here last year, was that the children here are much smaller than their Western counterparts in height, in weight. It's really very obvious. Children that you would think would be 7 years old actually turned out to be 12. 9/11. I've never seen it this bad in my life. We are going through a dire situation at the moment. Not only have we had 75 days or 76 days of no food, but we haven't had any medical aid either. And where we are in Khan Younis, we're one of two hospitals. We're the biggest of two hospitals in the region, and we're just about to face evacuation.
Evacuation to where? You're a hospital.
We don't know yet. We're right on the border of the active fighting zone. So Israel sent some flyers, or they update their website to show you where the active fighting zone is. And at the moment, we look to be about 1.5 kilometres away from the red zone. And if that advances, we will get an evacuation order.
We know Israel has been blockading food aid for a substantial amount of time, but I believe it's your experience that they are now actively preventing medical personnel, such as yourself and your colleagues, from coming and getting back into Gaza.
There's been a reduction in the number of emergency medical personnel that are allowed in since the ceasefire. So initially, when the first ceasefire was announced, the WHO and the United Nations announced that it would double the number of aid workers getting in. It has 2 convoys a week, one on a Tuesday and one on a Thursday. And from that point on, Israel have denied 50% of all aid workers entry.
They're attacking hospitals, they insist, because they are being used in some way by Hamas. Have you ever yourself seen any evidence of that?
There's no indication of any organised resistance in the hospital. So unless they are, undercover and we have no idea who they are, we haven't seen them.
What do you, as a trauma surgeon, as a reconstructive surgeon, right now, tonight, desperately need?
I need aid. I need medical aid, and we need food into Gaza. This is the worst situation it's ever been. We are losing children left, right, and centre from avoidable deaths. I lost a 4-year-old 2 nights ago from an overwhelming sepsis that in the UK would not have happened because I would have had the facilities to run basic tests. I don't have any of that. Our blood bank is absolutely destroyed. These are all things that could be treated. We need the aid. It's a humanitarian issue, and we need to give these people food and medical aid.
Victoria, thanks very much indeed for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.